you don't really know what's going to happen.
We want to make sure that everyone can be chasing that American dream.
Sometimes the only way to succeed is just to not give up. Now they know the other side. So let's talk about that. So you and I went and started a business together back in October of 2019.
Yes.
Which was a really great time to start a business just a few months before the great vid.
Yes, that was fun.
The great vid of 2020. Yeah, it was a disaster. We almost didn't make it through that season. That was pretty challenging. Luckily, our relationship stayed very strong with lots of communication and tearful shoulder hugs. But other than that, like, it was a really challenging time. But so let's talk about how, like, the business started. Like, I would like to hear from your perspective. Like, talk to us a little bit about, like, what we were doing, and then, like, how you remember this whole thing coming to be. I want to hear your side of it.
Yeah, I can give you that. How far back do you want to go, by the way? Because we could start when, like, right when we decided to form the company, or you don't want to start when, like, people want to know
I think they want to know how we met.
Yeah, I'm saying, like,
people care how we met.
I think they do, because, like, you guys just didn't start a company. Because it's very rare to find two business partners who survived in a company as long as we have, and not, wanted to rip each other's heads off to the extent of separating the company.
Like,
yes,
because there's been a couple times.
There's been a couple times. I still think the best form of solving problems should be sock and boppers and just go in the back.
Dude, 100%, dude.
Each other, but
no, I think what we should do is we should do like human hungry hippo. Have you seen that?
I have not, and I don't think it's something I want to Google.
It's so great. Okay, side note for everybody, if you've not seen Human Hungry Hippo, it's fantastic. Do you remember, like, those little squares that you had, like, in gym class that had, like, wheels on them, and you used to, like, cart them around, like, move backwards and stuff like that? Did you have those? Okay, so imagine putting, like, one of those on your chest,
scooters,
but then somebody's, like, holding you from behind and, like, moving you in and out, and you gotta gather all the balls. I think that's how we should.
That wouldn't be 101. I have to rely on somebody else to win. I want to rely on myself to win if we're going to go toe-to-toe.
This is a difference between you and I. I like that. Yeah. That's good. I'm like, bring the team in. More the merrier.
I think that's what makes us such a good partnership, though. And to be fair, again, to the background of people that don't know.
How we actually met. Let's start there.
I think that would be important, just to get some context of, like, how we survived one of the hardest financial and economic times that anybody's really faced in the last decade. So, so originally I graduated from the greatest school of all time, WSU, go Cougs. And after I graduated...
Okay, cut.
Hey, you can always just say, after I graduated, 8 years later... Go for it. Say it. It's an unfiltered podcast.
You graduated in the same class as doctors.
Yeah.
With a bachelor's degree.
I had to work through college. So
there you go.
Yeah, so it took a long
Tell
time.
the truth. Yeah. Tell the whole story.
Yeah, long story short, as I suck at school. I am not I'm not good at, like, being educated or understanding apparently. I'm not good at school. I'm not good at test taking.
I'm not good at learning things.
I'm just not good at learning things. I'm a very visual learner. It's just freaking rough for me.
Dude,
so
you're killing me. That's so funny.
It's so true, though. Anybody who knows me knows just I freeze up when it comes to tests or anything like that.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the fact that I had to take this test that everyone said would only take them one time to pass took them 4 times for me to pass, even to be able to hang out with you. It was really difficult. So we'll get to that later. So I graduated from WSU in 2017 and looking for a sales job and a marketing job. But everywhere I was looking, they're offering, basically entry level $20,000, $30,000. And I'm like, I didn't just graduate from college to go into a job where I'm going to make $30,000 or $40,000 starting off, when I've worked my way up in this warehousing company where I'm making, $60,000 a year, $65,000 a year, full benefits, like top dog, that kind of stuff. I worked my ass off through college, and I'm going to make less right off the bat. So that didn't really sit well with me. Going forward, a few months after graduation, and just realizing that's the opportunities that are out there for someone in social media marketing, is if you don't have any experience, you're starting off at 30, 40. So I was going to have to take this pay cut, but I genuinely love physical labor. I love seeing a finished product. I like knowing at the end of the day I've worked for my keep. I like knowing at the end of the day that I can see the finished product, and the beer tastes so much better when you worked your ass off, totally, your body to the limit. So I genuinely enjoyed physical work. So it was really hard for me to go away from that, lose money, and be sitting at a desk. But look at me now.
Now I'm losing less money, and I still sit at a desk.
Like shit. Tables have turned. So I think after I graduated and a few months went by, and I'm like, this is just the way it is. I was like, the opportunity that seemed to be presenting itself quite often was 100% sales commission. And it was basically, do you believe in yourself enough to outwork the next person and make your dreams come true by making an infinite amount of money if you're good at your job and just put in the hard work? And I know hard work has been something that I have instilled upon me through my entire life. So I was like, I don't know, I decided to look into the opportunities. So I went to go look at some financial firms and some sales gigs. It was a lot of 100% commission financial firms that were reaching out to me because I was one of the recommended students from my sales professor, Dr. P.
Dr. P,
Yeah,
baby.
he was cool, man. God,
He was a great guy.
Yeah, looked like
Still is, maybe. I don't know, did he die?
I don't know either. I low-key think he did, so I don't want to say anything.
Okay, side note, Dr. P, we love you.
Yeah,
If you're alive, if you're dead, we're sorry.
My bad. Anyway, he was super cool. Gave me a recommendation. So I had about like 20 different headhunters coming after me from all different financial institutions and enterprises, like selling, or it was what's the car company?
Enterprise? That one?
Is that it? Is it Enterprise?
You're correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of E-Trade. Whatever. Yeah, Enterprise.
They look the same. They're the same color.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Green and white.
Okay. Well, either way, I had a lot of 100% commission opportunities. Point is, I didn't want to take that because, again, I just graduated and I'm going to turn down $60,000 for zero in hopes and dreams. So I was also getting a lot of shit from my employees too. Right? They're like, what are you going to make at the next job? Everyone cared about money. If you're going to leave, what are you making? They all compared each other for income. Long story short, after interviewing with all these people, a lot of them took me to like high rises and showed me the world and like whole Mufasa shit from Lion King. Like this whole world could be yours except for that gray shady area over there that's Gresham or something like that. Like they would tell me everything, all the hopes and dreams, but it just didn't seem good to me. I didn't want to leave my job. Everyone said, do not wear a suit. They said if you leave the warehousing job, you're gonna be one of those suit pencil pushing fuckers. And I'm like, I'll never wear a suit, never. And then all these guys wanted me to wear suits. So I was like, I just can't do it. This wasn't my character. Anyway, along came Nathan Gans, who you messaged me, emailed me, and you said, hey, I'm looking.
I didn't even name it. I think I texted you.
Oh, you did? Yeah, you did. You texted me and you just said, you're like, hey, I'm looking to, you came recommended from your professor, would love to interview you and, take you out for coffee and see, if what we can do together. And I was like, okay, well, number one, you text me. You didn't just email me or call me. Number two, you called me directly. It wasn't some sales rep calling me and saying, oh, you should do it. Number three, in my head, I was like, all right, what skyrise are we meeting in this time? Kind of thing. And you said, let's meet at Thatcher's Coffee.
That's right. That's right.
And I was like, all right, well, we're meeting at a coffee shop. He actually wants to get to know me. He's not just going to sell me on the shit. But I was waiting for the test of, like the personality test to be like, oh, crazy. You matched with the top performing sales rep.
Yeah,
here.
it's so crazy. I don't know if this means to you, but you have the same personality as our top salesperson. We totally believe in you.
Yeah.
As if that's not an actual sales pitch. It's just a close.
That was honestly the same fucking sales pitch I got every single place I went to.
They all use
Mass Mutual. I'll even call them out by name. You guys don't sue me, but you can come after me if you want. It was 100% commission kind of thing. That was just it was rubbed me the wrong way. You rubbed me the right way. Oh God! Yeah, we're
in a coffee shop.
Yeah, in a coffee shop. Can we turn the AC back on? God damn it!
I don't know what's happening, but it's weird.
Anyway, as we're at the coffee shop, I'm expecting you to be in like a suit and a Rolex and all that, and a Lamborghini and shit. And you text me and you're like, "Oh, I'm in a cardigan." In the back. I was like, the fuck is a cardigan?
Right, you didn't know what a cardigan was.
I had to Google what a cardigan was.
You were late because you were Googling what a cardigan was.
And now you know that I'm just typically late everywhere I go.
Yeah. Now I know that's all bullshit.
Yeah. But either way, I did have to actually Google what a cardigan was. And walking in there looking for Mr. Rogers, I finally found him. And
great hair.
Great hair. Mr. Rogers style. But you did the whole time you got to get to know me. You asked me personal questions. And it was really cool. It was not the same approach as trying to sell me on day one, which worked out in the end because I just was put off, and I'm like, if I'm about to take this jump, I want to make sure it's the right one. We met 3 times, and then you kept buying me lunch, and then the third time you're like, listen, you got to make a decision.
We're like, listen, I just can't keep buying you food, dude.
Yes, so you did make that very clear to me, but you also made it very clear to me that I could run the ship how I wanted to run it. Mm-hmm. And you said you don't have to wear a suit, you don't want to do you don't have to wear you have to wear dress nice, but you don't have to wear like 3-piece suit and tie and kind of shit. And you said, we're going to train you to you don't have to make a cold call in your life because I hate cold calls. I did not want to do a cold call. I said, I will not be some person who's going to call 100 people a day, sell life insurance, and then to my family, friends, get in the CRM system and then get fired and you guys take all the shit, right? Mm-hmm. So you said you don't have to make a cold call if you want to. And I did not make a cold call actually my first year working with you, because obviously I took the job. But working with you, I didn't make a cold call for the first, I think, year, honestly. It was just networking and being out in the public.
I don't remember making cold calls either.
Yeah, it's just not my style. I mean, my style, I do really well face-to-face, in person, meeting somebody, building connections. That's where I jam.
Right.
Always jam that way. So I went with it. But anyway, I know this is long. This is a podcast, obviously.
Long story longer.
After the third time meeting you, and you're saying you got to make a decision, I went down and met Jeff.
That's right.
And he was really cool. Everyone just seemed to back what you were saying, which is you can build this how you want. We will make you what you want to become if you just have to let us know. So,
and I also told you it was going to suck.
You didn't tell me it was going to suck. You said be poor for 2 years, and that was the most realistic shit I heard from everyone else who said they're going to get me a Lamborghini in year 2. So I was like, all right, whatever. What happened was I went back to the warehouse, and it was one of those clarity moments where it was a long day at work, and I was like, I think I'm just over this.
Yeah.
And I need something in my gut was telling me to take this jump. And I didn't even formally do it. I just walked up to my supervisor when they told us it was time to, I had to go help out another department. I was like, I think I'm putting my 2 weeks in. So I told him, I was like, I'm done. So I went and talked to the guys next day. I was like, hey, I'm putting my 2 weeks in. I'm going to take a jump. Everyone's trying to tell me where you going. All my employees or all my friends are like, how much are you making this new job? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah.
Nothing.
But yeah, I tried to tell him, I'm not making anything. It's I tried to base it off the salary we got, the quote unquote salary.
Yeah, $2,000 a month, I think is what it was at the beginning. It was and it was a draw.
It was a draw.
It wasn't even a salary. It's a draw of $2,000 a month. That's not even going to pay for your gas and food. It's crazy.
But I decided I was just over that industry and I wanted to do something different. So you didn't push me. You made me feel very comfortable. You were very real. And it just seemed like you backed everything you'd had to say. So I put my 2 weeks in, took the jump, and a couple weeks later, it was starting to go to the freaking training with you guys in Tigard, Oregon.
At 8 a.m.?
Yeah, 45 to an hour and a half minute drive every morning to go train with you guys at 8 a.m.
That was tough.
To learn everything new. I didn't know what a 1099 was. I didn't know how to read my W-2. I didn't know the basic LLC principles, S corporations. I didn't know
nothing about insurance. Other than you getting licensed, it doesn't mean you know anything.
Yeah, so that was it. So I had to go get licensed, and it took, like I said, that's what took me 4 times.
It took a few times.
You guys had a freaking pool at the office of if I could make it or not. There's no way he's coming back. There's no way he's making it. It's on my 4th time.
Yeah, we started taking bets on whether or not you were going to take the test again.
Yeah, because but I don't lose. I don't.
By the way, I would just like to state for the record that I was 100% he's going to do it.
Yeah,
he's going to do it. I was like, it might take him a few more tries, but he's going to do it.
He's going to make it.
I promise you, he's going to do it. Jeff would be like, dude, are you sure? I'm like, he's going to do it.
Yeah. So I did. I made it work. So
I'm the only one that believes in you, Mike. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The only one. No one else.
Yeah, just want you to know that.
So it was great. So I took the test, passed it all, and then off we went. And that's where that was my transition from being a W-2 employee, not knowing shit about shit, and jumping into the world of finance. So that was my background. I mean, you can tell them a little bit about your background if you want before we keep going into how we started. But I mean, to just give the listener, just give the millions of listeners, an idea of who I am and where I came from. It was a warehousing job, 8 years to graduate, no idea about money or business, and took a leap of faith.
Yeah.
So, how about you though? I don't know how to make that even not as awkward as so.
I think you just make it as awkward as you want it to be. Okay, it's no big deal.
So just Nathan.
Yes, sir.
What about you? Did you come from riches?
Yes.
Did you come from riches of love and life? How did your journey start? What is your
in regards to this thing, I actually was in full-time ministry for several years. Okay. And my background was in church work and ministry. What do you need to grab?
No, just turn down. I'm getting hot now that I'm talking. Or I can just take the sweatshirt off. Can I do have time to take this off? We can cut, right? So I can just take it off.
Just take it off. Who cares? Ooh. It's long form, baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Try. Right. I would like you to know that one of the ways that I've definitely rubbed off on you is you do like black t-shirts now.
I've always liked black t-shirts.
Don't say that. That's not true.
It's all you. You're the one who made me feel like I like black
I'm the only one who believes in you, and I'm the only one who has any influence in your life.
You're going to be like, are you sure?
I'm basically a cult leader.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this seems like a controlled relationship right now. What blackmail does he have?
Yeah. Oh, I've got a few things. And you do too.
Don't you do that.
I was like, yeah, it was just too much. Okay. Well, my background was like vocationally, I was in ministry. Like my background, I went to college I went to Bible college, and I had a bachelor's degree in theology. So I worked in churches for the better part of a decade. And then got into financial services really because nobody else would hire me and I really needed to make some money. Yeah. And to your point, like I made nothing the first year. Like I worked so hard and made almost nothing that first year. I sold so many like tiny little life insurance policies. Like I just remember our person who's processing all the paperwork was just dying laughing because I'd get like life insurance policy at like a $15 premiums, monthly premiums, which means I'm getting like $3. It was cool.
You still get a check that's like
all the
3 cents.
Yeah, they're like that 2,000. You didn't cover your $2,000 this month, so you get nothing extra. And I was working so hard, but I was paying for an education. I was learning the whole time. Like the silver lining to that was I stuck with it and like kept going. And so what I did to keep going was I just decided that in order for me to succeed, I had to turn the lights on and off at least 2 days a week. Yeah. So the idea was that I had to get there before everybody at least 1 or 2 days a week, and I had to leave at the last person to leave at least 2 days a week. And that was what I just decided I was just going to outwork everybody, and it worked. You know what I mean? And things went well. We ended up working together for a long time at that company, and obviously we jived really, really well. We worked together really well. And I just remember, in that process, just being like, man, I feel like we're not quite there. Our company had merged with another company. The new leadership was excellent in regard to what they were trying to accomplish, but it wasn't an environment that suited me very well anymore. I think you and I both felt that a lot, when the company merged. And it just became something that wasn't enjoyable. It also didn't help that at that time of my life, like I was, going through a divorce and things like that. So that didn't make things easier. So to have those two pressures was really challenging. So, what a great idea. Let's just start a new business. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, but that's where the faith came in for both of us too, right? I mean, it's like we both, you were going through that hard time, and the reason. So I wanted to be clear too, and let people know that you're in a management role,
right,
at the beginning,
correct,
going with this new merger, and you had a team of 14 to 17 other people.
It was 14 at the time,
14 including me, and it was just there was something about, as in Hotel Transylvania, they say a zing. It was a zing between us that no one else had. Just let me go with this.
No, you're on your own. Totally. You can roll all you want.
And we decided, we zinged, and we decided that it's not, when we worked together, no one thought it was like, you're my closer.
No, it never really came that way. No. So I actually demoted myself, and so we could just work together.
Yeah.
And that was like that was the most fun I'd had in a long time. Was getting out of management was great. It's so frustrating how many good salespeople that they put into management, and it just ruins them. Yeah. It's like it's just a different skill set, and I think I do have a management skill set on some level. Obviously, like we run a successful company, so I do have some management skills. But at the time, I really just needed to sell. Like I needed to make money. I needed to provide well. I also needed to I had to do what was most valuable for you and I, which was both of us in the field, closing, selling, case design and doing all that stuff. And we got really good at it, and it was a lot of fun. That was the most fun I'd had there in a long time, was just when I didn't have to do the management stuff anymore, and you and I just got to work together. That was great.
You're also great at managing employees, but you were trying to manage business owners,
outside salespeople.
Yeah, that was just
it's just totally different.
Yeah, because the employee aspect, you're phenomenal, and you're phenomenal with the other people as well. But they had to want it. They were,
that's the thing. The difference between an employee, like managing a sales, like an outside salesperson who's commission only, who gets to build a business their own way, is you really just become more of like, I joke sometimes that you're more like the guide rails when you're bowling. Like you're just there to make sure they hit a fucking pin. Like just score something. Like you're just trying there to help. Yeah. Versus like an employee, you're like, okay, here's how you bowl. All right, like here's how you actually get good at this game. And I know that sounds strange, but unless somebody voluntarily allowed us to do that, it didn't happen very often. You were one of the only ones that was like, hey, teach me everything. Like, teach me what you know. Yeah. And then we just got really good. And then we just started learning things together. Like the watermark was there, right? And so when it comes to sales, I mean, you grew leaps and bounds beyond me when it comes to like prospecting and going to networking events and stuff like that. Like I couldn't even keep up with how good you are at that. But when it comes to like managing a team and making sure we're on goals and stuff like that, for me, it's just easier with employees. I don't know. It's just different. That personality is a hard personality to manage. And I know that because I don't think anybody wanted to manage me either. And I have the same personality. So we just have like a bunch of mirrors looking at each other and we all just don't like the same things we don't like in each other. It's weird.
Agreed.
So yeah, that was just definitely different. And so stepping out of management was like freedom.
Yeah.
We just went and sold. It was great.
It was. And I think that's also another strong point, just hitting on these strong points of how we've worked all together is I told you from day one, dude, I'm a workhorse where
Right.
I need from day one. You tell me what I need to do and I will do it. My brain is wired to be, I will outwork anyone else. You tell me I can't do it, I'll do it 20 times better than you think I could. And then if you tell me I don't touch the button, I'll touch the button. Right?
Yeah.
That's who I am at the core. So the fact that you were willing, you had these great qualities of a leader for someone like me who was also wanting to put in the work to get,
To get rewarded for it.
Get rewarded for it.
Yeah, totally.
It was just a good relationship that we have. And I think, which is again, why we haven't really butted heads too much is because I trust your judgment so much because number one, you chose me. But I trust your judgment so much.
Clearly.
that I will follow you into wherever you need it, wherever you decide to lead us to. So, I mean, I appreciate you having my input on that too. But yeah, so that was our first step into the journey.
Do you remember the day I came to you and talked to you about doing something different? Do you remember that?
Was it on the porch of?
I remember being in the office.
Yeah.
But on Officers Row there in downtown Vancouver, in those old buildings.
Yeah.
I remember being in our office.
Yeah, that's where you brought it up.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it
what I
was on the
remember.
porch, though. It was like
Oh, could be. Maybe it was.
Yeah.
So my memory's foggy. I'm old. I don't know. I got gray in my beard. Like, whatever. You got a couple grays going on too there, Pablo. Yeah, you do. So, like, I remember coming to you and just being like, hey, I got an idea. Do you remember this conversation?
Once you tell the conversation, I'll probably remember it.
Okay, you don't. Okay. So I remember the conversation. I said, hey, man, I think I have this idea. And we started talking about what would it look like to go on our own. And what we did was I remember asking you, like, hey, what would you think about maybe you and I going out and do something on our own? And I will never forget what you said to me because at the time it was really meaningful to me. You're like, hey, wherever you're going, I'm going.
Yeah.
And that was like the sum total
I remember that. That was
of the whole conversation.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, wherever you're going, that's where I'm going.
Yep.
So like, just, I trust you.
Yep.
And like, I don't know, man. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, the other side of it is they're so lonely. Like they don't have anybody to count on. Like they're like growing a business is wildly lonely. There are things that you have to deal with, and if you have no other owners, it's tough to talk about. It's difficult to talk about your employees about it. Maybe it's not even appropriate to talk to your employees about it.
Yeah.
It's very likely that your spouse doesn't understand exactly what you're going through, even if they might be very empathetic and kind and loving and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
They still don't understand exactly what you're going through. So I just think there was something really unique about being together on that journey, because I think you and I, we've talked about this before. You and I both agree that if either one of us tried to do this on our own, it wouldn't work.
Correct.
It wouldn't have worked.
We're the yin and the yang.
Yeah, exactly.
Peanut butter and jelly, mac and cheese. Please feel free to comment whatever you think a good pairing would be in the comments below. I don't know where. I don't know.
6 feet under. I don't know.
I don't know. This is on YouTube, right? Yeah, so they can do comments below. Build the engagement, like and subscribe.
It's a good thing we've got a clear direction on what we're trying to accomplish here.
We can get that out, right?
This is gonna be in public. Okay, great.
Oh yeah. Oops.
You're talking about this publicly?
Yeah.
So I just remember getting that affirmation of being like, hey, dude, I trust you. So like wherever we're gonna go, we're just gonna go there together.
Correct.
And that was a huge deal. And I think that's really what got us through all those first years that were so challenging and so scary.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, being alone, most business owners are alone.
Most business owners are alone, man. The other, like that's the thing is like they can even post online and talk about all the people they're around and all the cool things that they're doing and all the amazing places that they go. And if you really asked most entrepreneurs, they're like, dude, I'm exhausted. Like, I'm lonely, dude. I haven't had this guy trip in 3 years. I haven't, like, whatever it is. Like, they're just empty. Like, they're just constantly pouring out. And nobody thinks about that because they're like, oh, they're successful or they're the owner or they're the whatever. And the reality is a lot of those people are sitting in their desk being like, they're just fried. Because it takes so much effort and energy just to get to a business to a functional level, let alone an exceptional level. And so it's just very difficult to make those decisions. And so that feeling of being like, hey, whatever you decide, like we're going to talk about, we've made almost every decision together. It's still the important ones. We've definitely made all the important decisions together, but you've definitely made it very clear, like, dude, make the final decision. I trust you. Like, let's just go for it. And I think just having that has just been wildly beneficial for us as a company and also for our friendship. Like, it made it really easy because it wasn't like there wasn't this alpha bullshit. It's like neither one of us really have that alpha bullshit. Like, we're both very confident, driven. We want to get to where we want to go, but we don't let that go like this. Like, we want to work together. You know, we don't want to work against each other. So I remember that conversation of like, hey, I think we should start. And you said those things. And then what we decided to do, if you remember, what we decided to do was we're like, well, let's just go talk to some of our top clients and see how they would feel about us not maybe having like this major backing, this big company behind us. And do you remember what happened?
Yeah, all the three clients didn't even know our freaking company name at the time.
Yeah, none of our top 3 clients even knew what the company, the name of the company was. Yeah. And one of them said it wrong.
Yeah.
It's a 2-word name and they did it opposite.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so this means nothing to you. They're like, we call you. So we're like, well, I think we're going to start a business.
Yeah.
And that was about it. I mean, I did the business plan.
Yeah.
And like I had some idea of what we're trying to accomplish, but none of that worked out.
No, because again, because
COVID.
Yeah, COVID. But then again, as we realized that before COVID came, we realized that no one really cared about, like you said, the backing of the company or who we're with. It was more of like, we just know you guys are smart. You guys know what you're doing. You guys introduce the right people.
Right.
You were the guys, which again, before COVID, that was everything. I mean, that carried so much weight.
Yeah.
Everyone would say, you need to talk to Mike and Nathan.
Right.
You need to talk to Mike and Nathan. You need to talk to Nathan and Mike. You need to talk to
It's always Mike and Nathan. It just sounds better. Yeah.
Yeah, because Anyway.
Whatever.
Anyway. But either way, so everyone knew us. So that was like, okay, if no one's coming to us for our company, they're coming to us for our knowledge and our expertise and our network.
Why are we paying the company?
Well, yeah, why do we keep doing that to the company?
Why do
Let's
we
just
keep paying the
money
company?
ourselves. Yeah, and then help these people out and have no real balance, because that was one of the biggest struggles from a marketing and sales perspective.
So restrictive.
Yeah, you can only say so much stuff. Like, I remember trying to make a flyer, and they said they don't like the font. Yeah, like, it's just like, dude, that's the one thing you're going to care about, and have to change every single word to make it sound so stuffy and boring. And it was not a good fit creatively, when I know that, I don't even think we'd be allowed to do this.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
Not without going through multiple compliance channels and edit it out and just totally like.
We'd have compliance all over. This room would be recorded right now. We'd be shut off 20 minutes ago.
I know.
I was like, to bug out. You're not doing this.
Oh man.
Yeah. It just all signs pointed to just doing our own thing. So that's what we did. We trusted each other. We had validation from our clients. We knew that it was just meant to be. So you and I decided, to take that leap of faith and start our own thing.
And dude, that's now almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That we did that.
As well.
Which is really crazy.
2019.
Yeah. I mean, really the first year was a wash.
Correct.
In most ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just didn't, we're doing COVID and we're doing consulting with real estate agents, and none of them knew if they even had a job.
Yeah. If you want to,
they didn't know what the industry was going to be. Nobody knew what the market was going to be. People were freaking out. People are doing FaceTime walkthroughs on houses. Like, nobody knows if they can even go to a title company and get somebody to sign a paper. Like, our title, is a notary, a person who has to work. What do they call those people? The important people that have to work even if everybody's sick and dying. Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm sorry there was a tornado, but you're an essential worker. That's what it was.
The essential worker.
You got to get to work. Yeah. Nobody knew if that was essential services. Nobody knew what was happening, and who were like, hey, you pay us $5,000 to sit down and talk to us about your business. They're like, no, thank you.
That was because
no one was doing it, and rightfully so, right? I wouldn't have given my money to somebody like me either at that time. Yeah. And so we went through a really difficult iteration of the business, which was basically we started a business in an environment that nobody knew what the rules were.
Yeah.
And so everything just changed overnight. Because for example, the way that you and I would market so much was we'd take people out, we'd take them to dinner, we kind of do get some drinks, whatever it was, anything to build relationship and get people talking.
Correct.
And then overnight, it was fucking gone.
Yeah.
The entire marketing strategy pretty much was eliminated overnight. And you and I realized we have no brand. We have no online presence. We have no nothing. We have no Google reviews. We have no anything ever. And so it's like, okay, well, we got to figure this out real quick. So that business owner thing in us was just really fast. It started as moving really quickly because we realized, oh, nobody's paying us anything. So if we don't figure out how to reach our ideal client, in this environment, we're going to be dead real quick as a company.
Correct. There's a lot of holes in the roof that we had as a business. We put pretty much, I would say we put almost all of our eggs in one basket for trying to, and how we would get clients.
Yeah, just being good looking.
That was 70% of it. 30% of it were the food and drinks. But either way, like, so you're good looking, you paid for our meals, cool, we're in.
Yeah.
But I think that was the...
Well, maybe after they drink, we're good looking.
Yeah, they're like that was it.
Keep drinking until I look good.
They had I want to be clear too, like we started our company because of our knowledge, who we were, and then we targeted business owners.
Right.
That was how we'd work. We would do these like nice high-end tax strategies in the sense of like looking at their P&Ls and their numbers and finances and trying to find creative ways to free up money for them. So we started Northwest Premier as a consulting company.
Right.
Before, because I know a lot of people know us now as like a bookkeeping or accounting company. So just to clear that up, we were financial representatives at the very beginning. And then we decided to do consulting because that's what our clients cared about, was our knowledge and basis of like how to free up money to invest in everything like life insurance and pension plans and 401ks and stuff. And then we started doing our own thing in October 15, 2019 is when we really, hit the ground running.
Right. And at that time, it was really just consulting and insurance. Like we were still looking at selling, life insurance.
Yep.
So we had partnered with another company and we were working on doing business owner life insurance. And man, during COVID, like we did not do it. It was the least life insurance I think you and I sold ever.
Yes, correct.
By far. I mean, it was just wild. I mean, we were normally doing multiple policies a month.
Yep.
And we went to like having a policy a quarter.
Yeah.
It was weird. I'm like, this makes no sense. Just during COVID, when people are dying and nobody wants to buy life insurance, this is the weirdest thing ever. I'm like, you would think that during a national epidemic, you'd think people would be lining up to buy life insurance.
Yeah.
And people were like, you couldn't even get a hold of people.
No, and a lot of people just focus on the cash flow coming out. It's like, how much is going to be to come out? And they didn't really care about the products at all.
And then our relationship with that company went down very quickly because, I mean, for good reasons. They were paying us to produce and we were not producing.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to come at it from a different angle, a different marketing approach. And I really feel bad that we pissed them off. Like we didn't mean to piss them off like that. It's just the way it worked. And I don't think, I don't know. Maybe we'll never have a chance to explain our side of that to them.
Unless they're listening
right now, which I highly doubt.
They're on their yachts.
But yeah, I mean, like, they're out on their yacht somewhere, not giving a shit about us.
Yeah, they haven't given us two thoughts. But we think about you all the time if you're listening. Every day I wake up and you're like probably the 700th thing I think about before I go to bed.
That's oddly specific. How many things do you think about before bed?
A lot.
700?
Yeah. Like, what am I going to eat in the morning?
Is 700 the last?
Should I get up early? Is it
the last thing? Or you think about more things than 700?
Yeah. No, 700. That's the last one.
Before I ever.
Like, oh yeah, I forgot about those guys.
I forgot about those guys.
Sorry.
Sorry for fucking you up. Didn't mean to. They lost their shirt on us. That's how it goes. We've done the same thing with other people.
Oh, plenty of times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think once we started that consulting side and we went after small business owners, they were like, all right, I think that's the thing I've learned a lot about in business ownership is a lot of people start companies because they're passionate about what they do and how they do it. But they forget that there's so much other hats that they have to wear, which is why, again, it gets stressful because like I said, a lot of people just are starting their company because I'm really good at framing houses, so I'm going to own a framing company. I can make money cleaning people's houses, I'm going to own a cleaning company. And for me, I was like, I'm really good at selling and I'm really good at marketing and getting my name out there, so I'm going to go into sales for this consulting company, which we're working on small business owners. But then, again, why I need you so much is like, yes, money was coming in or people are coming in, but then I don't know how to build the business. My brain's not wired that way, and having your brain wired the way it is, you figured it out and could think a whole different way than I could. So we have I think, what's the best way people describe it? It's I'm fire aim shooter, something like that, and you're aim fire shooters, whatever it is.
I don't know, but they both sound confusing.
That's really what it is. I see a shiny object now, we'll run at it full speed, and then Nathan's like, do you know
like a ready aim fire. I'm like, get ready, aim, fire, and you're like...
The bullet's already gone before you even
ready, fire, aim.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, something like that.
I just run at shiny objects, and then Nathan's like, do you know what you're running at? I was like, no, but it looks good. Let's keep going.
I'm having a lot of fun. I'm like, okay, well, come back when And when you find it,
Yeah, I'll come back and be like, is this good? And you're like, no, that's not what we're going after at all. I go, I got 20 diamonds, but he's got one, but it's the one that counts.
Yeah, exactly.
21's earning real diamonds.
No, but I think you make a great point, though. I think a lot of entrepreneurs do struggle because part of entrepreneurship is that you have to do things that you don't like to do, and you have to still find a way to do them well.
Yep.
And as you know, doing something you like is hard enough to do well.
Correct.
Let alone doing something you don't like or that's like taxing for you. Like, I don't like figuring out how to do half the shit that I have to figure out to do. But in order for us to get to where we want to go, we have to build this company, which means we have to expand because, like we talk about often in our company, is like if you have a 16-ounce cup, it doesn't matter if you have that faucet on all fucking day. You're only going to get 16 ounces of water, which means that it doesn't matter how many leads are coming in. It doesn't matter how many potential clients you're reaching. It doesn't matter how amazing you are at Instagram or YouTube or anything along those lines. If you do not have the structure to capitalize on the work that's coming your way, you're going to get a bad reputation, you're going to do a poor job, you're going to lose clients, and ultimately you'll never grow to succeed. Now, people say all the time, I wish I had that problem where I have a bunch of clients. I'm telling you, the grass is not always greener.
Correct.
We've been in situations where we've gotten too much work, over-promised, under-delivered, and it really hurt us. It was exhausting for us. It was exhausting for our employees, and it really damaged our business from that perspective. Now, gratefully, you and I are the type of people who are like, okay, let's go learn from this.
Correct.
Let's figure out how to do it. And let's create a new system that allows us to not have this problem again.
Yep.
And every time we think we figured some shit out, what happens?
More shit happens.
More fucking shit happens. It's like the old saying, like new levels, new devils. You know, it's like,
exactly.
So like as you grow and as you get into the bigger company and you become more of like a structure and you have multiple employees, like for us, we have multiple employees in multiple different states. Yeah. Like it's crazy. Only 4 of our employees are in one state. Every other employee is in a separate state.
Correct.
So it's like learning how to do all the payroll, learning how to sign up with all the different Department of Revenues and secretary, like of every single state. It's just like, okay, this is getting to be quite a bit, And so like, I don't like to do those things, but like I said, part of life and part of being an entrepreneur is you have to become excellent at things that you do not enjoy and do them well.
Correct.
Until you get to a point of mass where you can delegate the vast majority of your responsibilities, I would bet that every entrepreneur, every CEO, every owner of every company anywhere, still has at least one thing that they do that they don't like.
Yes. I could see that.
It could be as simple as I have to meet with the managers today.
Yep.
There's like, yeah, I do it because I need to do it. I need to be there. Or I have to write a monthly company email.
Yeah.
I fucking hate writing this email. God damn it.
ChatGPT is now a thing.
Yeah. Please look at my financials and write a company report.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But the point is like, I just think that's part of how things go.
Yep.
And as I'm, that though, engaging and going, I don't know, we're just going to figure out. I think that's where the magic is.
Yep.
I think it is.
Not a lot of people have that though.
That's where the fun is.
It is, yeah. But it's once times are hard, then it's just like you either crumble or you thrive through it, right? So I think that's why there's so many people who don't make it past the second year because they do really well the first year because they're doing something they love and they're good at.
Right.
And then they realize
now they're doing something they don't love and they're not good at.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do we do now?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, how many business owners have you talked to who are just like, dude, I'm just done?
Yeah. Yeah. It's because they don't know how to scale. Or again, they don't really know what, like you said, their cup is 16 ounces and they have 30 ounces coming in.
They just don't know. It's so overwhelming.
Exactly, and a lot of them shut down. But again, that's why people. It sucks because you want to say yes to everything when you first start, right? I mean, I was saying yes to any meeting I could take. I remember, like I said, back in the financial representative meetings, I take like a meeting at 6 a.m. and you know how I feel about those. So I take a meeting at 6 a.m. I take a meeting
love 6 a.m. meetings.
9 p.m., 10, like it doesn't matter. Saturday, Sunday, I was taking meetings with anyone.
Yeah.
Slowly realizing I was devaluing myself. Number one. Yeah. And number two, I'd bring all these people on, but it's like then I didn't have the bandwidth to uphold the promises and stuff like that I could that I was committing. And it was really struggling to keep up with all the work.
Yeah, I think you stop when you can't fulfill your commitments, you lose respect for yourself.
Yep.
And that's a tough place to get out of.
Yeah, and that's
really tough.
But you want the money though.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're like, oh, again.
Well, you have to have the money. Like, it's not just one. Sometimes you're in dire straits. Like, I have to pay rent.
Yeah, exactly. And then you don't know how to. You promise these people a certain price. So I think it's just again, it's not knowing what you don't know. Right. Yeah. A lot of people come to us as business owners saying, you know, I don't know how to scale, or how do I make more money, or how do I make this work? How do I step down? How do I step out of this side? How do I should I hire 1099s? Should I W-2s? I want to do this. They just don't know what to think. Nobody's asking them the right questions. So when you come to us, we can ask you the right questions because we've been through this shit.
Yeah, and we're not so far removed that like we don't remember what it feels like to just be like really the business was really fragile.
Yeah.
You just feel like every client who leaves is like the end of the world.
Exactly. And I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So back on the other side of things, a client fired us today, a consulting client.
Yeah. He did?
And yeah, he fired us. He fired me actually, specifically me.
Oh, that's why I don't remember. Okay, got it.
It was also not an issue of performance. It was an issue of fit and how available I was to them was the issue, right?
Yeah.
And in the past, that would have really concerned me. I would have been I'd been like, man, I got to find a way to accommodate. That people pleaser part of me like revs up because I want people to like me.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, if he fires me, then he does not like me. But that's not even the truth. That's not even actually what happened. So after like some brief emailing back and forth, the end result was, hey man, sounds good. I wish you guys the absolute best. Like, hey, remember me when you enter into your kingdom. You know, like I can't wait to see you guys succeed at the highest level.
Yeah.
And like it's over. And like we provided a service that they agreed to, they liked it, and then at some point, not everybody's just going to be with you forever. Not everything is going to work out the right way.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, when you have those, you don't have that perspective of, hey, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like people are gonna leave you. Like not everything. Like probably one of the negative things about me is I can be very idealistic. It's like my dad described me once. He said, "There's optimists and then there's Nathan." He goes, "Some see the glass half empty, some see it half full." He said, "Nathan sees a couple drops in the bottom and says it's filling up."
Yeah.
And like that's me, right? Like that's like the ultimate, like the way that I think, right? And so like I really, I just think everything's gonna work out perfectly forever.
Yeah.
And it's just not reality. And so it took a long time I still don't like losing clients. I don't like that we got fired today from this particular client. At the same time, I'm like, cool, man. Like, I know that somebody else is going to come through that's going to be another fit. We're going to be able to help them. And we did help these people quite a bit. We gave them the confidence to get to where they needed to go. We're just not the right people to move them forward.
Yeah. I
and
think,
like having that humility of just going like, hey, like we were good for a season and this was the right fit. You got the information and the help that you needed. And moving forward, I might not just be the best fit for you moving forward. And coming to a place of maturity and going like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, cool.
And at least they explain that to us too. I like that. It's
I hate it when people leave and don't tell you why.
Yeah.
Or they tell you why and you're like,
we could have solved that.
like, really? Like, why didn't you just tell me?
Yeah.
Like, man, we're gonna have so much to talk about on this podcast. It's gonna be great because like that's a whole other thing about how did we create a system? Like every time we see like I like to use the analogy earlier, like holes in the roof, right? Like.
Yeah.
If people are leaving and we didn't know why, and it's something that we can solve. Like, how do we created an entire system and now pay a full-time employee to try to solve that problem. And it's worked out extremely well. But those are things that we've had to work on and develop and create. So I love this idea of the other side. I love this idea of like getting into like the nitty gritty of like, okay, you have all these successes, but like what else has gone on? You know, so we got to talk a lot about like our journey today. I know that over these podcasts, we'll share more and more and more about how we got to where we are and also where we're going, because you and I are like, there's a lot of things on the very near horizon that for us that we believe are going to be real game changers for our business and even for our industry.
Yeah, for our clients as well, yeah.
Yeah, for our clients. And so we're really looking forward to sharing that with everybody and just creating a community where people can realize that like, hey, listen, not everything is like a smooth, linear growth curve. The reality of life is that there's lots of twists and turns. The reality of business is that the only thing that's consistent is that it's inconsistent at the beginning. Like nothing is predictable. Like you think that everything's going to go great because you got a client and then that client leaves in 2 weeks, you know, and you're like, and then you're just up, down, and around. Your emotions are crazy. I remember one time you FaceTimed me at the beginning of our business. You FaceTimed me because you were prospecting out and you're like, it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. It was crazy. I'm like, why in the world is Mike FaceTiming right now? I'm like, I better answer it. I answer it. Do you remember this?
Was I on the yacht?
Yeah, dude. You're on a fucking yacht. You're like, bro, like I met this guy. He's so cool. We're on his yacht. Things are great. You're like, what are you doing? And I remember grabbing my phone and turning around, and I'm at my desk, like doing paperwork. You're like, Okay, well, you do your part. I'll do my part.
I'll go back to taking shots.
I'll go back to taking shots.
I remember that shit.
Taking shots and playing on this yacht, and I got having a great time. And I think we actually had to work with the person.
Yeah.
But like,
it
was just really funny because I'm like, dude, like we both had our roles. But I remember at the very beginning, like that's how it felt. It was like if I don't work till 2 a.m. and I'm up at 6 a.m., this thing's not gonna make it.
Yeah.
And that's a really very real feeling, that a lot of people have. So getting into that and recognizing that not everything got to where it got to the way that you think it did.
Yeah.
The reality is that the twist in terms of life for us is where like the flavor is, it's where the color is, it's where the interesting conversations come from. And very few people are going to connect with you excellently when you present yourself as very strong and you only present your strengths. I found, and I think you and I have found this together, is that most real, genuine connections come when you actually share weaknesses with one another or difficulty with one another. Maybe not just weaknesses, but difficulty. Yeah. Those things that you go through that make life meaningful, those moments meaningful. It's like, and the way that I know that this is true is because all of us probably have a very short list of people we would call if something really went bad.
Correct.
And that's the people that I'm interested in. Like, I want to know, like, that's a connection from difficulty or weakness or trial or trauma or something along those lines. Almost never you're like, you know what, I've got a very like short specific list I would share with people that I did well.
Correct. It really does.
It's totally different.
It really does. It builds the closeness when you can share those difficult times together.
Totally.
Especially if you go through them together like we have, which is why we're so close. But it's the sharing them with other people. Like you said, it's a lonely road for a lot of entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we can kind of pull back the curtain on this podcast and let people know, hey, we've been there. We've been through difficult times too. It's, you see this one side, but you're now seeing the other side of all the shit that most people go through. Yep. That's really what builds those connections and why I'm really excited to be getting this started and sharing our story.
Absolutely. So let's finish up here too. Also, one of the things that we did in our business, that was super important, was we wrote a book called The Financial Blueprint for Real Estate Agents. Yep. This is really our brainchild. This is like what we work with clients. It's written at like a 9th grade reading level so everybody can understand it. We define difficult business terms in a way that's simple and easy to understand and give you actionable things to actually get better. So this really works for any independent contractor. It's a planning that we would do for any independent contractor. It's just simply in the language of real estate agents. Yeah. But this is something I know that you and I are both very proud of.
Yes.
Because I mean, we went #1 on Amazon for like 7 days, which is the greatest thing ever. Now we have a plaque about it.
For just a quick second.
Yeah.
Have the screenshots to
we beat Ryan Serhant for a weekend. Take that, Ryan. Yeah, suck on an egg, bro. The Amazon bestseller.
Lawsuit comes in the next day.
It's like, Serhant, period, is suing you. Oh, well, thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
So anyways, this is something that I think we'll talk about a lot more too as well, the Financial Blueprint Real Estate Agents. We'll make sure that people have links and they'll be able to buy this in the descriptions down below. Yeah. And really we believe that this really is going to help people make and save more money and give less to the IRS and keep more in their family.
Correct.
Yeah. Awesome, Mike. This is going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for sharing your side of the story.
Thank you for sharing your side of the story, Nathan. God bless you.
You're welcome, Miguel. Bye, buddy.